This episode of Commanders Daily is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. For all of your fantasy needs, huge shout out to Underdog Fantasy for helping sponsor us today. Just go ahead and hit that QR code up there and you can get started as well. Welcome to Commanders Daily, everybody. It's your one-stop shop for everything going on with the Burgundy and Gold. I'm Bob Matthews. Hit the like and subscribe button too so you don't miss a day of our coverage. Got some more coaching news to tell you about with David Blau now, the offensive coordinator. One of the offensive assistants, Anthony Lynn, is interviewing for the head coaching job with the Buffalo Bills. Now, this is a situation where I think that it's probably a long shot that Anthony Lynn gets the job, and I would not be surprised to see him back with the Commanders next season. I think that Joe Brady has the inside track there in Buffalo. He seems to be, the one that the smart money is going with. He's familiar with Josh Allen. He's been Josh Allen's OC for a number of years now. They've done pretty well. And I think that, Lynn's taking the interview because clearly, as a veteran coach, he wants another shot at a head coaching job, and that's how it works. You go in, you get the interview, word spreads about how well you did, et cetera, et cetera. It's not necessarily the job you're interviewing for right now. It's the one you could be interviewing for down the road. So while Lynn is a candidate there, I really hope that he comes back to D.C. because I think that David Blau and the rest of this very, very young coaching staff can use a veteran voice there helping lead those meeting rooms. And, we will keep you abreast of it. The job just came open in Buffalo a couple of days ago, so we'll just have to see how that pans out. Latest on the defensive coordinator job, it is still ongoing. There are a few front runners, including the ones that we talked about yesterday. Jonathan Gannon, I think, is emerging as a guy who I really think they may wind up giving the job to. It would be great if Brian Flores gets the job, but, he's interviewing for head coaching jobs right now. The Vikings have said that they want him back. Of course, the flip side of that is, they could have given him a contract extension in the middle of the year last year, and they didn't do that. So, hopefully they can make him an offer he can't refuse, and that would be a huge get. But Gannon is a guy I think you need to keep your eyes on. He was blown out at the end of the year in Arizona. He came up as a defensive coordinator, obviously, or he wouldn't be interviewing for a defensive coordinator job. He was a DC with the Eagles and did really well. He knows how to win in the NFC East. That's also a big plus. So if it is not Flores right now, I'm putting my money on Jonathan Gannon, and that would be an extremely good get for the Commanders if Dan Quinn can pull that one off. All right, we got to tell you about Underdog Fantasy here. Playoffs in full swing. It is championship weekend, and you know what that means. It means that Underdog is the best place to start to get in on all the gridiron action. And playing Underdog is easy. All you do is pick your favorite players and then decide if they're going to go higher or lower on the stats. And when I say stats, I mean things like rushing yards, passing yards, touchdowns thrown for, touchdowns caught, touchdowns run for, anything and everything you want. All you got to do is use that promo code that we've been talking about. Go download the Underdog app and type in the promo code FootballFan. That's FootballFan. If you do, you're going to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. And if you play your cards right, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. What are you waiting for? Go and download it right now. Also, all right, so let's show you what we're looking at here this weekend. This is the way Underdog works. Go ahead and, look at a guy like Matthew Stafford, all right? So we're looking at Matthew Stafford here. Here are the numbers. Here are the stats that Underdog's got up there. 255 passing yards, 255.5 actually. I'm going to go lower on that because I really like the way Seattle's defense is playing. I like Seattle in this game, not by a lot, but I do like Seattle. I do think he will go higher, though, on the touchdowns. The touchdown number is 1.5, so I think he's going to go over on that. I think he's going to go higher, rather, on that. I also think he'll get at least a couple of yards on the ground, so half a yard rushing. I know that, Matthew Stafford, he's no Jaden Daniels when it comes to running the ball. But this looks like, they're thinking Seattle's defense gets home, sacks him a couple of times. That's what I'll go. I will go higher on the rushing yards. Completions, 21.5. I got to be consistent here. Although, I think he'll go higher on the completions as well. I don't think he's going to light it up, but I think that they will be high percentage throws. And then finally, interceptions thrown. Hey, Matthew Stafford is a pro's pro. I don't think it's going to be turnovers that loses it for the Rams, so I will go higher on the 0.5 interception. I actually do think it's going to be. Hey, it was a long day. Okay, I do think that Seattle's going to get a couple of picks there, so I'll go higher on the interceptions as well. So go to Underdog Fantasy, download the app, promo code FootballFan75 with your first 5.
Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-878 or text Commys 467-369.
Well, Robert Kraft had some interesting comments earlier today when at a press conference, or yesterday actually. Somebody asked him about the 18-game season, and we all know it's going to happen, but Kraft saying the quiet part out loud, saying that it is not only definitely going to happen, but that the international series is going to be extended to all 18 weeks. I'm personally in favor of the 18-game schedule. Now, having said that, I want the players to get a bigger share of the revenue because it is yet another game that they're going to be playing, for real. So they need a bigger share of the revenue, and they need to expand the rosters. Hell, I think they should expand the rosters to 90. Just go ahead and, figure out how to make the numbers work, but expand the rosters to 90. Everybody that you bring into training camp, hey, you don't have to have any, you don't have to make any cuts. Let's just make cuts a thing of the past. But it's good because, it's a win for the fans. If you're a season ticket holder, you're buying those 3 preseason games, which are just complete and utter crap. We all know that. The only reason we watch them is because we're so desperate for football at that point that we will watch a bunch of 3rd and 4th stringers play. They're still getting charged, season ticket holders, are still getting charged premium prices for it. So the fewer exhibition games, as far as I'm concerned, the better. Guys don't need preseason games to get into shape anymore. They come to camp in shape. It's not something that anybody needs, so I'm just saying, why do it? Give us more competitive football and don't jam everything, although I am sure what they're still going to keep the Labor Day start date. See, I'd be in favor of starting the regular season sometime in August, but I don't think that'll happen. I think they would rather push it further into February because February is sweeps month. Not that that matters anymore, really, in television. So that's why I say back it up. Hey, start the regular season, 3rd week of August. That gives us even, less time that we got to wait in between seasons. I am totally down with that. My opinion and my opinion only. Let me know what you think about that. What do you think about the 18-game season, regular season? Do you like it? Do you want it? What do you think? Drop a comment in the comment section. We will read them tomorrow. We got to get out of here. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks to everybody that has. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Like the wise man once said, if you're out on your bike tonight, as always, do wear white.